So as you guys know, I'm also an author, and I've actually written 3 books, as some of you will know, and some of you have kindly bought. ULEZ Files was my debut novel, collection of short stories, Quantum Races, and this year my non-fiction book, which is How to Be a Content Creator. Now, my book, the ULEZ Files, obviously it's about cars, because when I think about what am I going to write, I'm a car guy. But I like fiction, I've always written stories, and I thought, well, let's combine the two. Now, if I had in my mind somewhere thought, or had the ridiculous belief that I might be the only one doing that, I've just realized I'm completely wrong. Because I've just met this guy here, and literally I'm just walking past here, drinking a cup of coffee at Enfield Pageant, looking at some of these stalls, and I just noticed this. And this is a book called It Can't See You in the Dark by Feroze Engineer.
That's right.
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
And this is Feroze. Feroze, tell us about what this is.
This is a novel. It's a piece of historical fiction. It's a thriller. It's something I wrote over the last 10 years of my life, so it's very heavily researched. And it's a story about a heist of a very famous vintage car, which happens to be a Mercedes owned by the infamous Saddam Hussein.
And this is a real car, because you've actually got a picture
That's
of
right,
it.
yeah,
So
it's a real car that
this is the
actually
car.
went missing.
So basically, if some of you will remember, I was actually in the Middle East at the time of the Gulf War, and hold that up for me. And what happened was that obviously Saddam's palaces were raided, his car collection, all of his stuff was taken. A lot of cars were unfortunately destroyed.
That's right.
Because they used them for target practice, and they just, the soldiers got hold of them and did whatever. But clearly, some cars, the value must have been realized, and they squirreled them out.
Oh,
so this is an actual car that went missing.
This is an actual car. It was the pride and joy of Saddam's collection. It's a famous 540k 1936 Streamliner Roadster with coachwork by Erdmann Rossi, very famous coachmakers at the time. So it was an immensely valuable car, one of only 2 ever made. The jewel of his crown. And this is...
so do we know what happened to it? Was it ever found?
Yeah. So the car went missing. No one knew what happened to it. And then it resurfaced in Iraq many years later. And no one really knew what happened to it in the interim. And this story is my telling of what might have happened to it.
Right, so what you've done is you've filled in the gap between it going missing and it being found.
That's right.
What a brilliant idea.
Thank you so much.
I love it.
Thank you so much. It also features lots of real characters who lived at the time, namely Uday Hussein, who is a psychotic son of Saddam Hussein.
And he had a lot of cars though.
He did. He was a massive car fanatic. So
when we talk about car fanatic, tell me this: are you an author or are you a car guy, or are you both?
I am both, absolutely, just like you, man.
That's amazing. So, did you always want to write? Did you know you were going to write about cars, or did you sort of come up with this idea in your head when you're reading the newsreels, or how did this happen?
No, it's a really interesting story. So, I came across a few snippets of information. Of facts, things that actually happened in Iraq, just as I was reading or watching the news, and they sort of wove themselves together in my head to create this sort of fictional story that involves this gentleman called the Blogger of Baghdad. It was one of the first.
The Blogger of Baghdad.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was a guy,
and
top secret.
When was this? This was at the time of the Gulf War.
This was at the time of the 2003. US-led invasion of Iraq.
I mean, there was barely much blogging going on at the time. We're talking very early days of
the
internet,
Particularly in Iraq, because it's an authoritarian regime, and they're cracked down on free internet access. Even television, magazines, and books were cracked down upon at the time. So there was this guy, no one knew who he was, and he had this top secret blog, and he wrote about the ground reality in Iraq.
Right.
And it became world famous. But still no one knew who he was, because if they knew who he was, the authorities would have caught him and hung him.
He'd have been killed,
so the book is partly about a cat and mouse game between...
So does he feature in the book?
Very much so. Wow. He's one of the central characters.
Right, but a fictionalized version of him.
Fictionalized version of him.
Right.
But he's absolutely a real guy.
You don't actually know who he is?
We do know who he is now.
Right.
We do know who he is now. I've not got permission to use his name, so I'm afraid I can't say it. But if you pop in the
A
blogger of
fictionalized
Baghdad,
version of him. Oh,
that's right. Yeah.
That's amazing. So how long did it take? So it took you 10 years to write it, but what was that? 10 years of research or 10 years of writing? How did that happen?
A bit of both,
Right.
yeah. Because it's my debut novel, I was also learning how to write a novel whilst I
Right.
was doing it. Obviously, writing has always been a huge part of my
Yeah.
world, and I write for
So
work.
what is your world? What do you do?
I'm a marketing professional and
Right.
a copywriter by
Oh, okay.
trade. So I write for advertising, for marketing, and I've always wanted to write a novel because I'm a huge reader, particularly thrillers, and I finally got the opportunity to do that.
I'm amazed. You know, honestly, like I'm just listening to you, and it's kind of like a mirror of a sort of a younger, better-looking version of me. Do you know what I mean?
I'll take that compliment.
Honestly, like you know, you're a copywriter. I'm a writer. I came from a writing background. I'm a
Yeah.
journalistic background.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to write a novel, but we're car guys, and we're like, well, how can we combine
Amazing,
that?
amazing.
And you know what? I'm gonna get a copy of this. I cannot wait to have a read of this.
I can't
and see
wait to hear what you think of it.
Well, I hope that you'll also read
And
mine.
I am
leave a
looking
review.
forward to the Ulysses
The ULEZ
Files.
Files.
ULEZ Files.
ULEZ Files,
Absolutely. Yeah, can't
Well,
wait.
That's amazing. So what about going forward? Have you caught the bug now? Is this a one-off, or are you going to
Yeah.
follow it up? Is it going to be a series, or are you going to do something completely different? What's your thinking?
I've got so many ideas for new books, and I'd love to write them, but I think I need to take a little break now
Yeah.
because life takes over,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's got to maybe wait a little while, see
Yeah.
what comes of this book, see if
Yeah.
it's a little bit commercially successful,
Yeah.
and then I think I'll have enough impetus to write another one.
So
That's
guys,
the plan.
I think this is important, and I'm not. And you know what? It's great that I've got Feroze here now because I can talk about him. Otherwise, if I talk about myself, it sounds too much like self-promotional. not that I'm shy of being self-promotional. I'm like, guys, buy my books, buy my books. But at the end of the day, we really have to cultivate car culture.
Yep.
And we have to build car culture, not just for us, but for a future generation as well. And one of the many ways that we have to do that is through media and through the medium of, obviously journalism and media and what I do, but also entertainment.
That's
so whether
right.
that be books, or whether that be movies, or whether that be TV shows,
Exactly.
this is all part of it.
100%.
So honestly, like if you are into cars, if you're into car culture, you want to support the scene and make sure that it survives and thrives, then you got to think about supporting guys like us.
That's it.
And you can
That's
support, And you can support us very easily by buying his book. Once again, do not miss it. It's in the dark. It can see you in the dark. Feroze Engineer. It's on. This is your look.
That's right,
Look at
yeah.
this. This is on Amazon. I don't know if you'll be able to see. You'll be able to screen grab that. That's the QR code. But
Yep.
just search for it on Amazon and it will be there. So buy his book, buy my book, and I can't wait to find out.
I
what you
can't
do
wait
next.
to read yours. No,
You know
thank
what?
you so much.
Maybe we can collaborate.
Maybe we can. Sounds like a plan.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much, man. Hope you're enjoying this video. Make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe if you're not already doing so. And support independent automotive journalism channels like mine. You can do that at patreon.com, coffee.com, or taking out a subscription right here on YouTube. Or you know what? Better still, you can go and buy my books. I've got 3 books out now. They're all on Amazon. They're all available to buy. More details on this are in the description, but buying any of these books will certainly help. Thanks so much for watching. Shout out time, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, if you enjoy my content, why not get involved? Buy me a coffee. You can do that at either of these links. Or if you're watching on YouTube, buy me a thanks or take out a membership. It all helps. It really does.